All right. Well, I have 301. I'm not seeing anyone kind of currently getting logged in, so I think we'll go ahead and start for this afternoon. So welcome everybody to our series of instructional webinars designed to support Memory Book Online Yearbook Program. Our goals today is going to be going over the new features that we have in the program for the 23-24 season. So new to the program for this webinar and coming into the program, we're going to be going over our new page ladder, the new look of the page ladder, and also going over how the new look of the page mover to help you move pages around. So where I'm at, just right here in the I'm on the dashboard. So to go to our page ladder, we're just going to go under plan, and we're going to go to page ladder here. Okay, so it's a completely new look here. So if you're brand new to Memory Book this season, um, this is the look that we have here. So you wouldn't know what we used to have, but for those that are returning, you can tell it's a much different look than what we've had before. Um, Usually before we had kind of the spreads kind of going down in a column just as a break through the book. Now the page ladder, it still has those pages kind of broken up. We have larger previews, so you can actually see the content and able to select it and help you kind of plan and organize better. So larger previews, there's also kind of going on some things that are not, they look a little different. We don't have certain fields that we used to have next to the pages that would help with like section and description information on, what kind of section this page is in, what's the topic of this page, and so on. But all that stuff's still here. There's just different ways to apply it now. So the first thing that we're going to do here is so if you're brand new, never had an account with us before, you're pretty much going to be starting, with a blank slate here. Though your pages will be empty. And let's see, do I have any empty pages? Nothing loaded yet. Well, they'll just be all empty pages that kind of look similar to this. Now, if you're returning customer and your job number has stayed the same in everything, and you would like to bring over your layouts from last year just to get a jump start on some things, we still have that option. Instead of the teal banner that we used to have across the top that said, load last year's section description, load page designs, it's all wrapped in. It's just doing it's simplified now. It's just when you click start with last year, that's that button that you'll click to bring over your layouts from last year. And those layouts that come over from last year are going to come in template form. And what that just means is the photos, backgrounds, stuff like that, certain images will be taken out. And also text is reverted back to just like a default filler type. So you'll see that it's a text box there. It's going to look like it has some Latin gibberish there, or some people think it's Spanish, but it's just Latin gibberish. It's just filler type that a lot of design programs use just to indicate that that's a text box there. So if any of those text boxes that come over with the filler type, it's not, you don't need to change language or anything. It's just putting a cursor in there, backspacing out that type, and then typing in what you need that to say. So definitely, if you're starting from last year, definitely it's encouraged to do this. If you kind of have that same look going on and on, like if you have a particular look like that you would like to keep on going for a few years, it's a great way to get a jump start on that. Do you have to start with this? No. If you're, let's say that you've done the same look for a few years now and you want to go with something different, you don't have to do the start with last year. It's just a good starting step. Now, when those come over, it's the one thing different about this year is last year you could load them in. There was a button you could clear them out. This is actually just a one-way thing now. to where when you start with last year, it's going to bring over all those layouts, and then they're there. They're nothing set in stone. Um, Now, there's not a button to pull them back out, but just when you're on a page, it's nothing that's set in stone. You can drop another template on. If you don't want to, if you want to start with a blank page, you can select everything on that page and then hit backspace or delete to clear it off. Um, but that's if you clicked it and you didn't want to and you needed to get back, that's you kind of have to manually take all that stuff off now. Um, but if you do load it, it's real easy to drop a different template on a page and go from there. Okay, so at large previews. Okay, so of the things that we're looking around, because I said there's some things that are different around the pages. So we're going to look around these pages here this year and all the information that we have. Um, so as we're looking around the page here, we got little buttons here. So if you want to lock a page, you can lock and unlock pages with the little lock icon. For advisors, there is a little hide. You'll see a little ghost icon, looks like a little hide button. What this is to turn a page into a hidden page or a secret page. This comes in handy, or let's say that you're working with staff and you want to keep something, maybe it's something special, maybe it's a dedication, maybe it's a memorial for a student. Unfortunately, if that does happen, but those pages you'll see some time to time. But if you just want to make it to where you're the only one working on it, you want to keep it a surprise or anything without your staff realizing, you can click this little button. And what it'll do here is you'll see this says page in progress. Get ready for the big reveal. Now, as the advisor, if um, you were to click on this page, you wouldn't see this whenever you got to there. If you're the advisor and you're in the book, it'll open up the page and you're able to edit it regularly. Who this will affect, though, is other people on the site not logged in as advisor, or if they're in with other logins. So if that page isn't assigned to someone, or maybe they're just a staff role login in general, they won't get to see the content of the page. They'll get a little preview, much just like this. Um, Other buttons across the top here. So we've got our lock, we've got our hide, and we have view PDF. So if you click on this is just a quick way to individually kind of proof one of your pages that are there. So if you needed to get a quick PDF proof out for review, just click that little PDF button that's right there. Another thing that we're looking around here is status colors. In last year's page ladder, status colors were in a small thin border that went around the page. This year, they're kind of in a block bar that is at the bottom of the page, so you can really kind of see what that is now. So anything that is all pages that are in red, those are not started. If it's in progress, it'll be in yellow. Now later in the yearbook building process, when you get ready to wrap up on your pages, so you're ready to complete them, um, and when you complete the pages, and that's another thing, once a page gets in progress, you'll then get the complete button that pops up just to the upper right of the page. If you click on that, there we go. All right, so a completed page then takes on a status color of green. Um, Now, once you put a page in a completed status, that complete button will then kind of turn to show two more buttons up here. And then you'll get a little submit button, and then you'll get a return button. Now, I'm not going to submit this page in this webinar, but if I were to click it, this bottom status bar would then turn black. So black is then the color for submitted. Now let's say that you have a page that is completed. Now, a page that is completed is locked from editing. That's both from the student and the advisor. Um, Now, if you need to get back, now completing a page goes ahead and locks it. Now, in order to edit, um, and then a page that's been completed, what you would actually have to do is go up here and, if you need to get back to it, hit the return button. That's going to unlock the page, put it back in progress for you. So here's the little buttons that are around the page here. Um, we got lock, hide, PDF, and your complete button. And then remember, if you once you hit complete, that's when you also hit submit and return. All right, so moving on, we're going to show you how to add kind of that section and topic info that you used to be able just to write off to the side of the page. Um, so this year you kind of see it has a different look. We got some tabs down the side here. Um, so the first one up to the upper left is sections. Now you can come in here and you can make your own sections if you'd like. Um, now also, I have some pre-populated ones here, but if you go to add sections, I'm just going to type C just because I was going to do class. As you can see, if you start to type something, it'll auto recommend or it'll start pulling up suggestions. And then now if you backspace here, it'll give you kind of all the different sections that you can kind of put in here. Academics or clubs, or maybe you have divider pages that you like to do. Maybe maybe this is portraits. We put it in, some of us do class pages and that. So you can select from what is here. Let's do spring here. So I got spring. If I add that, you can also just type something in here that you want. Maybe that's a PTO or PTA. You'll add that. So you can either choose from that or make up your own sections. But the sections are more or less your big sections of the book. Class pages, candid pages, maybe sports pages, maybe it's event pages, clubs, stuff like that. Now with your sections, once you have these added, to apply them, you're just going to drag and drop the sections over to the page. Now your sections are going to show up above the page. So once you apply them, I'll just bring index back here. So when you apply them, you'll see that it'll be this top drop down that is here. Now if you bring over a section and maybe you accidentally grab the wrong one, or maybe stuff has moved around, stuff needs to change, you can just drag and drop the correct one over, or from this little drop down, if you click here, you can then quickly change this to any of the other sections that you have in your list. So that's how you'll apply the section info. So you got sections tab, you'll make up answer, or not answer, but you'll make up a section and drag and drop it over. Now, if you're making up your, when creating these, if let's say maybe you caught a misspelling later down the road on these, you can edit them. So you can come in here, if you click this little edit pencil that's right here, you can then edit the naming of them, or if you just need to get rid of one completely, there's a little trash can icon. Just click on that, and that'll get rid of that section for you. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of spring, and then just kind of show you that's just click that to get rid of them. All right, so now that we have our sections, let's kind of break that down and more go with our topics that we have. So on our topics here, so the topics would be, so once you're doing class pages, then your topics are candid pages. Then your topics can kind of become like 5th grade, 4th grade candid pages, different things like that. Maybe you have different events going around the school, Dr. Seuss page or Red Ribbon Week, or maybe if you're doing your sports tags, baseball, boys, softball, and so on. Now, just like these sections, you can click in here and just start with the letter and see what comes up. If you backspace one, it'll show you all the different topics that you could choose here. You start typing. Um, if you click over to Smart Topics, there are already a ton of different smart topics that are already here that you could choose from as well. So let's do Art Club here. Then once I selected it, Art Club was added over to my list of topics. So here I've got, I'm going to take some of these off here real quick. So faculty, I'll just do faculty, and I'll just add, I could do candidates here. So I just created candidates here. So maybe I'm going to do one of these pages as faculty, and then it's candidates, clubs. But your topics then drag on and they show down right under here. So don't have to type these in this year. You can make them up. You can pull from a list of pre-populated things to save yourself time. But definitely, if you like to keep things very organized and how they do, it's a really neat way. Just come in, put topics, and then just drag and drop them onto your pages. Another thing that we could do last year, I'm going to take some of these off. So another thing that was next out to the side of the pages was a way for advisors to assign pages to their staff or their yearbook team. Now staff, just to kind of quickly, we'll touch on this more in our next webinar in a couple weeks. But if we go under plan and staff, this is the area that you would set up your staff logins for this next part. Like I said, we'll go over that in our getting started webinar in a couple weeks. But I just wanted to show you this area just to know, you'll need to set up your staff logins first. But if we go back to the page ladder, last year, next to each page, there was a drop down next to each. You could assign up to 2 staff people to a page. Now, you are only still able to assign 2 people to a page, but once your staff are up here, you now just drag and drop them over to assign your pages. Now with assigned pages, only the people that are assigned to the page are able to edit that page, and plus the advisor, because the advisor can get into any page because they're the advisor. Now when assigning pages with their logins, so if you're logged in and you try to go to a page that is not assigned to you, it's assigned to someone else, you'll be able to see the page, but you won't be able to edit the page. And one other thing is if you're working with a yearbook group, it is usually, we recommend in best ability to assign both pages of the spread to the same student. But we do realize that there are cases that there may be just one student will have to take a left page, one student will have to be on a right page. If you find yourself in that situation where you've got 2 different people assigned to the same spread, what it may be best to do is have each one of them switch over to a single page view just to avoid save errors. And that is something that we're going to show down the road in one of our other webinars that we have. But just want to put that out there. When assigning, when and if all possible, try to keep the same. It's easier to keep the same student or staff member assigned to the same page, but realize that there's going to be times where it's not doable. But just wanted to put that out there, just to have that heads up. All right, so We've gone over the little buttons, we've gone over colors, we've gone over how to add sections, and then our topics and how to assign. So some quicklies just on the page ladder here, some other stuff we'll go over. Um, there's two other tabs here that we have, deadlines and masters. Um, these really don't apply to our version of the program. So we're not going to go over these. They don't have functionality in Memory Book Online. We're hoping that we can actually get those two tabs removed down the road here. But just want to point that out, that really you're pretty much going to use sections, topics, and staff when you're in the here. Now some of the other tabs that you see here, so moving on from ladder, there's list. Now what list is, it's your page ladder without the previews, so it's just the base information that is there. You can still do everything, you know, change your section. You can actually see what topics and stuff are there. You can remove them. You can still lock or hide or preview your pages from this view. Next is groups. You'll probably not spend a lot of time here. It's just showing the different printing signatures. So a signature is just this many pages. I mean, and it goes for printing. It's a print setup. It's how they're folded and then before they're sent to a trimmer. But that's all that this is. There's not much functionality here for you to just kind of at a glance. Moving over is preview, and preview basically brings us to a look of the page that if you kind of hold over, it shows you that information. But it's just kind of a quick. This is how it's showing you the page spreads, and it's showing you the flow of your book. Just kind of a quick at a glance meeting that's here. Okay. All right, sorry. Okay, so I saw a question pop up in the thing here. Sorry, is this a staff meeting? No, this is for the yearbook advisors on going over page ladder. But just kind of showing you these different areas of the new page ladder. So again, preview, it's kind of a quick, just easy, you know, if you want to go through and review kind of the flow of things that's here. This just gives you a quick look at that. All right, so the last thing that we kind of have for you here is Page Mover. Now before, in last year's version of the program, you weren't able to get to the Page Mover from the page ladder. So they've actually added kind of a quick step button here in this area to where you can jump to that area. Because the only way to get to it before was by going under the Create menu. You go under Create, and then you could get the Page Mover there. So they try to get just a quick jump over to that area. So if you're planning, and then you quickly see that you need to rearrange a couple of pages, it just made sense to make that easy kind of shortcut over there. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Page Mover. A little bit updated and cleaner look than it was before. The functionality is still very much the same if you're returning. But if you're brand new to Memory Book, here's the Page Mover. Your pages move. By default, when you come in here, they move around as 2-page spreads. So if you start to drag them, you'll notice that your pages start shifting. It'll move it. So when you move a page, so I'm going to take this one here, 16 and 17. Now, as I quickly move it, you'll see the next page starts swapping where it is. So I'm going to move it here. I moved that here, and essentially all of these pushed this way. So it's the same whether you go back and forth. It's going to show you those status colors again, not started, in progress, what's completed. Now, a couple things when looking at your pages, a couple indicators and just some general functionality. Um, a locked spread will not move at all. So you notice that one stayed here while I was kind of messing around on the top row. If I move that over, you'll see that this other page that has this indicator skipped right over it. So locked pages stay in place. So keep an eye on that when moving things around. Just if you do notice anything is locked, if it needs to stay in that spot, fine. If it needed to move, um, just make sure to have things unlocked. We don't want to, locked page can kind of throw a wrench in the books, things that could get things out of order there. Um, now,
Excuse me.
yes.
I have a quick question. Since we're on this page, is it easy to add in a page? Let's say you didn't allot for enough pages in your yearbook.
To have pages added to your yearbook, you actually have to go through your sales rep there.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
yeah.
See, yeah, sorry. I'm completely new. I was just given this job a few weeks ago. So, um, everyone's given a set amount of pages. Is that right?
Oh, you sign up and you start out with like a set amount of pages that you've agreed upon with your rep,
Oh,
your sales rep.
got it.
But then
Okay.
but then from there, you would just talk with them to make adjustments on that.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. All right. So here, kind of by default, again, by default, it moves the spreads. Um, Now you can move single pages. There's a little toggle in the upper right here. So if we click that over to single, now we're able to move single pages around, and it's just the same as before. Just slide them over. Locked pages still stay in place, but now we have this little symbol that's right here. So this little symbol right here is the dual photo spread symbol. So what this means is that there is something that is on this page spread that goes across the middle of the page that ties them together. In this case, I can kind of see it's this banner that runs right across that connects them. A banner or a DPS page cannot be split up um, when moving around the single pages. So if I were to take this, actually, I'm going to move this over. I'm going to take this blank page here, and I'm going to try to move it over here. But we'll see the locked page doesn't move, the DPS page doesn't move. It's not till I get completely all the way over there until then it moves it over. So that's really nice. It's going to keep our DPS pages together and allows that single page to skip over. That is a very big improvement from the previous year, or I mean, over the last 10 years, that's been a big improvement on this. And it's just because before we weren't allowed to bring a single page past, um, wouldn't allow you to bring it past that. Um, you would have to actually go onto the page and edit it and then um, make sure that DPS marker was off, and then you can start moving single pages around. But very good. It's very, we like the fact that we can move that around. We're not hindered by that now. That a lot of times that would kind of cause some advisors some extra work. So it's good to kind of see that that was kind of improved. You can get around that and be able to move your pages a lot more freely. All right. So that's kind of all that we really had as far as new features, and what we wanted to show you today is just the new features. Um, so again, we've gone over the page ladder and just a new look at the page ladder and the page mover. Um, so at this time, we're going to open things up, to answer any questions about the page ladder and the page mover, if you have any. Um, and then, um, so yeah, we'll just have 10 minutes or 10, 15 minutes here. I can keep things open um, for any questions. Okay, good question here. I'm just going to start with one that just popped in. So the question came in is just going over again where you could import last year's pages. Um, so right this year, it's so back on the page ladder, right here in your upper menu bar, you're just going to go with that start with last year button, and that's going to bring over. If I bring over my layouts from last year, does it bring the page description? Not this year. Um, So this, and going forward, it's just going to be the layouts, I believe. So they've done away with that kind of that older section description info that carries over um, this year. And I think going forward, each year you would need to probably set up brand new sections and descriptions. But don't hold me to that because who never know if there could be another button up here next year that maybe it brings over this section in topic information. But we don't have that yet. It's would like something like that because a lot of things don't change year to year on certain people's setups. But um, unfortunately, yeah, we were not able to do that one for you this year. But yeah, it's just bringing over the layouts. Okay, so another question, how do you assign a specific page to a topic? No number of pages. Uh, okay, can you explain that one? Maybe I'm not think I'm not sure I understand that question. Go ahead.
Okay, if you have like a certain, I guess it's topic or section, your topics, right? Like if
Mhm.
you want to assign, like, is it one page for art? Like, do you have to just drag that topic to each page that you want to be for the art club?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Okay.
thank you.
No problem. You're welcome. So our home, okay, I got another one. Our home screen doesn't have the start with last year button. So are you talking here on the page ladder or are you talking back here on the dashboard? Because it won't be here. Okay, so back on the page ladder, it's a good question. Has your job number changed from last year to this? Actually, it should be there. Now, what it may be, it is an advisor only option. So if you are logged in with a staff login, then that is correct. You shouldn't see it. Okay. Okay, so another question. Can I import last year's templates but edit them if I need to, or will be stuck with them as is? Oh, no. No, no, no. When they come over, okay, so what I have loaded on my pages right now are templates loaded from last year. Um, so let me just go on to one of the page here, because if you click on a page in the page ladder, they'll bring you here. So here, this is a template from last year. You're still able to come onto your pages and type and edit things or remove, do whatever you want, drop a new template on. Um, so yeah, you're very much able to do that. So what you bring over from last year is just a starting, just a starting step. But then once they're on the pages, yeah, you are good to edit and change and or do a complete overhaul if you like. So yeah, that's actually a good question because we get that one quite a bit. Um, so no, definitely, it's always good answering in these webinars in case these for those that didn't make it. Um, that kind of look forward to the recording. That's a good question to ask during this. So pass it on. So. Um, think I'm caught up on anything. So here, before we go, good questions, everyone. But before we go, if you have any last other questions about what we've gone over, um, feel free to get them in and help you out. Can we access a recording of this? I am recording this. So yeah, typically what we do, we do a Tuesday and a Thursday session, and then what we do on those, we get those up on Friday, and then a link out sometime mid afternoon or a little bit later afternoon with a link to those sessions. So definitely be on the lookout for that tomorrow. All right. Well, I think we've had a really good webinar here. We had some good questions. Not seeing anything else come through here. So we'll probably go ahead and wrap things up. So thank you very much for joining us today. Hopefully by showing examples of the new page ladder and page mover will help ease the planning and creation of your yearbook. So feel free to join us in a couple of weeks as we review logging into the program, familiarization again with the ladder, font selection, creating an image share account, and how to transfer your material from your 22 to your 23 account, or your 23 account to your 24 account, sorry, and the importance of sending us your portrait CD. So again, thank you everyone. Have a great rest of your afternoon and day, and we will see you later.